Welcome back to the Race Control Podcast. This is episode 4, uh, number 4, Lando Norris. Today we are going to kind of just be going over review of the week, news, predictions for Baku, all the shit that's kind of coming up over the last couple
Oh, it's
days.
juicy.
There's been some juicy little tidbits have happened. Brad, why don't you start it off with your favorite thing that has happened this week?
My favorite thing that's happened this week happened today. It is Wednesday, and Adrian announced the signing with Aston Martin, which I'm beyond stoked for. It's been a lifelong dream of his to work with Fernando Alonso, and seeing those two get paired together is going to be. I'm just sitting here, just giddy about it.
Excited.
Yeah,
This, I hate to say it does bode better for you with the theory of Max joining Aston,
yeah,
although I still am a bit skeptical on that one. But I was actually watching a couple other people talk about it, and they brought up the fact that Lawrence is like selling large amounts of shares, so his level of control
yeah,
might be kind of dwindling a little bit. So
yeah.
I think like the possibility of like other shareholders coming in and being like, "Hey, Lance isn't."
Well, that was part of Adrian's deal.
Yeah,
And I think Aramco has tons of control over that as
yeah.
well.
Well, how much?
Um,
What percentage do you think Adrian got?
I I haven't read enough about it yet, but I would assume it's. I wouldn't say it's minuscule. I think it's enough that it makes him in the motorsport industry for a long time.
Yeah,
I see him trying to position himself as like the helmet Marco maybe of the future.
I honestly, for me, I think we're gonna see him more. Definitely still in F1, but like I think he's gonna want to get it more into the like the commercial side of things,
Yeah,
like making vehicles.
yeah.
Like maybe,
Well, look at the RB17 that
yeah.
he's just finishing a Rebel right now.
I had no idea that the Valkyrie was his brainchild.
I mean, it's all part of his crazy web
Yeah,
of things that
his
he's doing.
car
I mean,
stuff.
I think the Valkyrie was part of when Aston was with Red Bull,
Yeah,
right?
he
Yeah,
started it.
yeah,
They leaned on Adrian heavily for the initial
yeah.
creation of the Valkyrie and what it is, and then the RB
17.
17
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Adrian's like Red Bull equivalent of the Valkyrie. So like
yeah,
he's going back home.
yeah. Well, I'm not to mention how much money Aston spent on their factory in the last like year
Yeah,
and a half, 2 years.
yeah.
That wind tunnel that they're going to have is going to be incredible. The technologies that they're going to be able to pull from that are going to be crazy. And I think that's really where Red Bull's been falling behind a little bit is their data that they're able to generate from their testing. And I think we'll probably go into that later. But
Crazy that
um,
they haven't like Adrian's been bugging them for years about building a new wind
yeah.
tunnel, and they just haven't.
Oh, it's in his book too. He talks about it all the time in his book. Yeah, it's awesome.
Especially for 2026, you think it would make sense? Like, let's get a new wind tunnel in here. It's gonna be a new car.
I mean, just like his loyalty to Red Bull. I think he's been
Yeah,
with Red Bull since like 2005 or something.
long time.
Like
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's like almost 20 years with one team. And during that time period, obviously, there's been like the ups and downs. But like bring Sebastian the title, Red Bull's constructor, Max. After that now, and I don't know. It's really awesome to see. And even when he was with Williams in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and seeing him work with like people like Damon Hill and um, what's the other guy's name that I was just reading about here? Yeah, it's just incredible to see what he's been able to do with the technology that he had, and then moving to McLaren and working with like Mika Hakkinen and
yeah,
like people like that. It's also awesome. He's just been
cool.
such a legend of the sport.
I'm excited to see what he does at Aston. I think it's gonna be. I think we're about to see Aston kind of take
Yeah,
off a little
and
bit.
not to mention like how many troll Instagram and social media
Yeah,
posts there have been today about
I
it.
did you watch a little while ago they put out like a teaser like video,
Okay.
and they like in the video teased that Adrian by like subliminal imagery was teasing that Adrian's going to be joining. It's like I can't remember what edition Aston's on for their car, but it's like their current car sitting
Okay.
on a beach and
Yeah.
there's like clouds and stuff, and
Uh,
Adrian, I can't remember what his subliminal images was in there, but they also had a big beach ball
yeah.
kind
Did
of
you
on
see the
spot,
number on
and it's
it?
33,
Yeah. Whose number
and it's
is that?
Max.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but like, dude, people are also speculating so much that Max is going to go to Merc.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't think he's going to work with Toto well. I mean, I think Yas maybe wants him to go to.
That's where he wants him to go. And
Yeah.
then having Toto would have an absolute field day having Kimmy and Max.
Oh, what about George?
Who? Who? George who?
Just push to the
Yeah.
side.
Sorry, George.
Yeah.
We are done.
Next.
And next. George would, yeah, poor guy. We talked about my feelings towards
Yeah.
George last week.
Yeah. He's a
Um,
haircut.
yeah, he is a haircut. But I don't know, man. I'm excited to see Adrian's rise with Aston. Dude, honestly, personally, with him having his fingers in like the production vehicles, I already think Aston like produces some of like the most beautiful
Beautiful.
vehicles. Having his hands on potentially like a new DB car or like the Vantage or something, like
Yeah.
holy shit, man! Like these
Maybe
things are
Daniel
gonna,
Craig will come back and play James Bond again for us.
yeah,
Just because.
possibly just because he's like Adrian Newey's back,
Yeah.
or is at Aston. We got to get this new car.
Yeah. I know I said the last one was my last one,
Yeah,
but Adrian's here now.
Adrian's
So
here. I wonder if he's even. Do you think Daniel Craig's aware? He's got to be an F1 fan.
I hope so. I feel like he might be a motorsport guy. I mean, playing James Bond, I feel like you kind of have to be.
You have to
But
be a little bit.
yeah. Also, they're just flying that British flag.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I just love it.
Just remember that Lawrence is Canadian, so we're bringing it home for Aston
Hey,
right
man,
now.
we're part of the oligarchy or
Yeah,
whatever it
the
is.
oligarchy. That's
We're
Russia.
part of the oligarchy.
The
Canada, yeah,
Commonwealth.
the Commonwealth. That
Yeah,
one, yeah. We're part of it. We're in there in the ethos.
yeah, yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah, I'm really excited. I've been kind of like really hoping this is happening for a long time. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the biggest thing that's happened this week. It's probably like one of the biggest things that's happened this year, other than the constructors championship and what's been going on with even the drivers championship and the drama around that right now.
hmm
So, um, yeah, I'm excited about that.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
just to kind of segue, I did a little bit of maths
Oh, big math guy.
earlier on the current driver standings for the drivers championship.
Okay.
And just so I think everyone's pretty aware of it at this point, but Max is currently is sitting at 303 points.
Okay.
Lando's at 241. Leclerc's at 217, and Pastry is at 197.
Pastry.
Yeah, he's up at 197. He's in the conversation, but like not totally. He's got to get a couple extra like little donuts in there and
Yeah.
bump him up to 200.
Yeah. A couple juicy passes
Couple
on
juicy
Lando.
little passes, but so Lando's 62 points behind Max currently,
hmm
and there's 224 standard points up for grabs.
Okay.
232 with fastest lap.
Okay.
Um, Lando needs to beat Max by 8 points
Okay.
every race.
So that's the difference between like what? There's 25 points for first place.
So if Lando comes first, Max can come third.
Okay.
If Lando comes second, Max can come fourth.
Okay.
If Lando comes third, Max can come fifth.
Ooh.
So the worst that Lando can do is third,
Yeah.
and if he is getting third, Max better be down in fifth. So
Yeah.
Lando has to podium every single race
Yeah.
from this point forward, and ideally Max is like not even getting on the
Yeah.
podium. That would be the best case
Yeah.
scenario for him. And then like I don't want us to seem like, or me personally seem like a giant Ferrari fanboy, but
Oh.
Charles is, dude, he's tickling Lando. He's
Yeah.
so close. I
Yeah.
don't think there's a possibility of him winning the drivers championship, but he could easily get second.
I mean, if you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, he could get in there, man.
Yeah.
Just squeeze it in.
I mean, I think it's going to be a good end of the season. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that. I don't know
it's
if it's going to
super
be
entertaining.
2021 good, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So
There's a lot going on. Anyway, that's just
I think there's a
kind of,
couple. You can talk about the extra fastest lap points too. I guess with those
yeah,
in
man.
addition to it,
Those are,
because Lano's been nicking them up on the
he
last
has.
lap of every
Yeah,
race.
and that's not something to kind of shake your head about,
Yeah.
especially when it kind of comes down to it being like this close. Like that, we could potentially get to a point where it is a 1 point difference.
Yeah.
And that fastest lap could potentially seal victory or
Yeah.
not.
And then there's going to be a safety car on the last lap, and we all know what happens then.
Yeah. Do you think we're gonna get a safety car in Baku?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's a
Street
street
course.
race,
It's a
yeah,
street
so it's
course.
pretty likely. I mean, Logan's not on the grid anymore, so we don't have to worry about him.
Yeah.
Um,
Just
but you never know, like,
the American Eagle
yeah,
screeching around corners.
yeah. I don't know who. I mean, who is going to crash there? K Mag's not racing right now.
No, Bearman. That's also another thing
Yeah,
that we need to talk about.
yeah, we're gonna have to get there.
But I didn't know this. It's been 6 races since the safety car.
Yeah, it's been
It's
like
been a
pretty
minute.
melodramatic when it
Yeah.
comes to like
I mean,
racing
we did
stoppage.
have a safety car last race, but it was a
Yeah,
safety car for the safety car.
yeah,
So it doesn't really count,
yeah,
but there
yeah.
was one.
That was the medical
It was
cars.
a medical car.
Huge
But
difference.
the last like legit safety car was 6 races ago.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. It's been a hot
It's been
minute,
a
eh?
minute, yeah. The boys have been safe out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. Like push it a little
Yeah.
harder here.
Yeah, I want to see some wheel to
Yeah.
wheel. Well, I mean, then Meg
Be
gets
safe.
any wheel to wheel, you get like
Yeah.
race disqualification.
Yeah.
So maybe no. But yeah, dude, Bearman coming in,
Yeah.
I think is exciting. This gives him like such a good opportunity to get his feet a little bit
Mhm.
wet, and he's not just driving in like free practice one.
Yeah.
He gets to
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
kind of get in there and really feel how it is and get some solid laps down. Um,
You know what's cool is if he got points for both teams that he raced for in the season. I don't know if that's been done before. I probably want to Google it,
yeah,
but
I'm not 100% sure if
that's
that's
kind
been
of
done
cool.
before, but yeah, how does that end up? I mean, like, obviously it'll just go towards his personal points.
Yeah, I guess in the driver, and then maybe he'll have more points than Valtteri or
That'd be
someone who hasn't
so sad, but
gotten
yeah,
many points. I mean, I think Valtteri probably has finished 10th once or twice, but
yeah.
I'd have to check again.
I can tell you right now,
Yeah.
I've got it open. Valtteri has 0 points.
Oh, Valtteri.
Yeah, and Bearman currently actually has 6, so he's already doing
What
better.
place is he in the
He's in
drivers?
15th. Below him are yeah,
No.
below him's the man he's replacing, Kevin Magnussen,
Oh, okay,
uh,
Mag.
Albon, Ocon, Zhao, Sargent, Colapinto, and then Bottas. So Zhao, Logan, Franco, Colapinto, and Valtteri are all tied for last with 0 points, and then you have Esteban Ocon at 5. Bearman, Magnussen, and Albon are all tied for 6. So if he gets points this race, like he actually has a potential to be above Gasly and maybe even getting up there with Danny. So
Oh man, not Danny.
yeah, I doubt he's gonna get up like he's got 22 points right now, so he's within shooting distance of like getting up to like 13th
All of a sudden, we see a
potentially.
Haas on the podium.
Dude, it's if that happens, people are gonna be like, actually no,
Yeah,
it'd be incredible. I did okay. So this is another thing I didn't know is, um, Baku is actually in terms of like F2 is Behrman's best track.
really.
Yeah, and he got the last time that he was there,
Yeah.
he got P1 in qualifying and then finished.
Oh yeah. I mean, I hope so. He
So
got P1.
he's been like noted saying it's his favorite track.
I think the biggest thing is if he can get that car ahead of Hulkenberg in qualifying. I think that'll be a big telltale sign because Hulkenberg has amazing one lap pace,
Yeah, he does.
and like that's entertainment for me. Like out, like
If all he can get to Q2,
yeah,
I'll be stoked for him. I think he's got like aside from like the vehicle being just like so much faster than an F2 car,
yeah,
him having the confidence of being like, I love this track,
yeah,
dude, has gotta like help so much. Like
yeah,
he's going into it. I know every corner. I know this place front and back.
yeah.
Like I can do it with blindfolded.
I mean, hopefully his neck's not getting ragged all
Uh,
around the whole
no, dude,
time.
these guys have
Yeah, but he's
crazy
pretty
necks.
young still.
He's still super young, but I think these guys all have like football player necks by this
Yeah,
point. They just got to.
yeah. Just trapped.
Just traps. Just yoke. Yeah, dude, I'm excited for Bearman.
I guess we could talk about like another rookie then as well because there was an announcement this week that Antonelli chose his number.
Yeah.
What would you go with?
If I had to pick,
Something that's not taken, which is another brain quiz within itself.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like it's so cliche, but like my birth year, like dude, like 94. Has anyone ever done a number that big?
I don't know.
That's kind of sick.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of sick. Can I do triple digits?
Triple? I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna. I think it's gonna go over weight
And
if you do
give
triple
me the
digits.
69 420. Double stack it.
Yeah. Just a binary
Just a
code
binary code.
of
Yeah.
your birth year.
Elon Musk's son's name.
Yeah.
That'd be
Oh
pretty
man.
funny.
Yeah, but he went with 12.
Yeah.
He's real original guy. Just 12.
Do you want to elaborate on the history of that number?
He's just used it his whole career. Yeah, it's just kind of his number. It chose him, I think.
It's hey man, you do what you know.
Yeah, you do you.
You do what you know.
Yeah.
The small amount of like school sports I played, I was always 11.
Okay.
So
11. I've been 11 in my day as well.
it's a good number.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
number. Yeah.
similarity.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like
I think that's
nice.
Perez, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but like, dude, if it was a possibility,
Yeah.
94 would be sweet.
Yeah.
Who else does? Who else
Maybe I'll go
does?
43 because I'm one better than Hamilton.
There you go. It'd be like
No.
such a messed up way for someone to like come onto the
Yeah.
grid. They're like, so Antonelli, why'd you pick that number? I
Yeah.
picked 43 because I'm one better than Hamilton, and I'm taking his seat.
What number's George? I can't remember right now.
No one knows.
Is it 6?
Uh,
Oh, that's a good one. That's the play right there.
yeah, just I'm one better than George.
Yeah.
Here, I'll see if I can figure out what Georgie's number is. George is number 6.
Yeah, sweet. So he's
Or
number
sorry, 63. He is
63.
63.
Oh, that's a pretty high
That's a
number.
pretty high number, George.
Interesting choice there, Georgie boy.
You know what? I like it.
That's the one thing you like
Yeah,
about the
I don't
guy.
like him, but I like the move.
Yeah.
Picking a high number. Good for you. I'm proud of
It's
it.
like 99.
Yeah.
Who's going for 99? We got a
No.
Gretzky guy here?
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, I think that was just interesting. I mean, it's in the news. I don't know if it's newsworthy, somebody picking their number for their car, but it is what it is. So
I mean,
there we
it wasn't
go.
necessarily a light news week, but Kimmy is just such a big talking point right now
Yeah.
that obviously was going to get picked up, and I mean, it's a big thing for them. I mean, like they carry this number around, like it's like
Yeah.
their number. They do have like a level of association with it by the
Yeah.
end of like their careers. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, whatever.
We might as well just put number 1 on my car.
Straight away.
Yeah.
It's crazy that like it's not crazy, like, but it makes sense that like that's your like you
Yeah.
get to have number 1
Yeah.
when you
It's pretty
win.
cool.
It is cool. So Max has just been ripping around with that
Yeah.
for 3
3
years.
years. Maybe not at the end of this year.
No, dude, I honestly I don't think it's gonna happen for them. I think
I'm really struggling.
I brought it up.
accepting that.
I really genuinely think that we're about to watch Red Bull go not from like first to second,
Yeah.
but like from like first to fifth.
I don't want them to pull a Mercedes.
Like they are going to take I think they're just going to take a huge dive, man. Like they just don't have. I mean, I know Ford's helping them with their new engine, but
Do we like that?
Ford's been putting out some pretty sweet cars. Some like some of the new Mustangs, like that new like I don't know, not the
Yeah, but
dark
like growing
horse.
up as a kid, like did you want to buy a Ford?
No, I was always a Chevy guy.
Yeah.
Give me that LS
Yeah.
engine, boy. Give me
So
I want a 454.
like I get that like Ford is this like big brand and like they have this image of performance.
Yeah.
But like race car performance, like they're running like Baja cars.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know about enough about Ford racing. But
They've got some good stuff. I mean, like they definitely have focused more into like drag racing and drifting even. They're in there a little bit, although
that's true.
everyone does love an LS engine
Yeah.
in drifting
Oh, it's just
along with like
bulletproof.
the 2JZ. Like those
Yeah.
are both super popular engines. But Ford's also they've definitely done a few things in like Dakar. They do have like a bit of a racing pedigree.
Yeah.
Not clearly like as big as like Ferrari or even Mercedes. Mercedes has just been in there for so long. But I think you're also like there is definitely a bias towards European cars or
Yeah.
car brands and manufacturers in
Especially, yeah.
F1. Um, I don't think we will ever see a Chevy engine in an F1 car.
Andretti tried it.
Andretti's trying. Yeah, get
Yeah.
the Cadillac engine,
Yeah.
dude. It would actually be so fucking like hardcore. We're putting NASCAR engines in these suckers.
You know the engine from your Raptor?
Yeah,
It's in the back of Max's car
it's
now.
in this. It's pretty like country.
Yeah.
Um, that's what F1 needs is just a little bit of country.
I think something that we forgot to talk about is Honda is also at Aston
Yeah, that's yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
like there's your another relationship that Max loves and
It's
Adrian loves.
Honda actually, I do genuinely mean this. I think Honda is like the king of race engines.
Reliability, performance, it's
Them,
kind of there,
yeah,
yeah.
race engines, lawnmowers. They
But
just knock
lawnmowers,
it.
don't forget the generator,
Dude, the
dude.
generators, man. We had a Honda lawnmower. That thing ran forever. Never wanted to die. My buddy's always talking about his Civic.
Yeah.
You just make a good, reliable engine,
Yeah,
man.
now it's in an Aston Martin
Yeah,
sponsor car.
yeah, it's great. We love it.
Yeah, I mean the only other competitor I think to that is the Mercedes motor.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see who's running the Mercedes motor in the coming weeks too, or not weeks but years.
yeah.
With the whole Alpine Renault kind of conflicts that are going on that have been circulating recently. So,
Alpine, I know that these guys are on strike and it's
yeah.
like their jobs are on the line, but I think they would be foolish to not go with the Mercedes engine. It
Yeah.
just makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
Mercedes has been developing hybrid engines for so long now and so successfully. Like their engines are bordering on bulletproof.
Yeah.
They're really, really reliable.
Yeah.
They're super efficient.
Even in this current era of the downforce age, like and also go to say like you're supplying a motor to a team that's beating you in McLaren right now, which is
Yeah,
kind of
which is
like
like insane.
yeah.
But that just comes down to McLaren's less than kosher front wing.
Oh, funny you say that.
Yeah. When you elaborate
Let me
on that a
tell you
little,
about their front
their
wing.
front wing.
Yeah, I think they have. So from the research that I was done, I'm not a technical person when it comes to Formula One, but McLaren has two vents on the side of their front wing that they're supposed to close up, and they're allowed to run it during free practice. They're very small, but they're not, and they're supposed to have them closed up during quali in the race, from my understanding.
Hmm.
So it's one of the biggest complaints that's kind of come up from a technical side of things right now.
You mean Christian Horner?
Yeah, he's the technical.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the god of Formula One. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but it's also coming from Ferrari as well. So
Yeah.
him and Fred are kind of like they haven't made any formal complaints yet. They've mentioned it in the media, and I think the other big thing that's been going on is the front wing movement. So there's supposed to be a allocated amount of flexibility in your carbon fiber parts, and obviously the wing being carbon fiber. But if you look at it closely, the McLaren and the Mercedes front wings are moving drastically more
Yeah.
than everyone else's front wings. And it's very difficult to test and record it from an FIA perspective. So because of that, they're able to kind of get away with it. Compounding effect of also being able to pull these other tricks out that they're doing. And I'm sure most people who are into F1 have seen the Wolf of Wall Street meme
Yeah.
of, is this totally legal? We don't know.
We don't know.
But we did it anyway, right? And I think everyone does that every once in a while. I think Red Bull is probably guilty of that as well.
Dude, everyone in F1 skirts around little gray areas all of the time.
There was no formal announcements that there was bias braking going on with the Red Bull, but the FIA changed the rule recently, and look what's happened.
Yeah. I think even like a better point into that, shoot, I can't even remember what year, but it was Ferrari in qualifying. You'll probably remember this. They just blocked everyone from getting their last lap in. Do you remember that?
I don't know.
Dude, they just like there was like I think there was like literally a minute left, and both of them just because there was no rule at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They just cruised beside each other, and it was like Hamilton and like three other guys.
Trying to get by.
They were trying to get a lap in,
Yeah.
and all they did was like prevent them from kind of like doing slightly better, getting slightly higher up in
Yeah.
qualifying. But they just
Yeah.
after that, there's now a rule.
Whoops.
Yeah, but there
Yeah.
was no rule at the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like goes to show, like, if you look back, and I know the topic of Adrian Newey's been super um, brought up recently. Um, they developed like active dampening suspension on the Williams cars,
Hmm.
and at first it was like they were able to use it, and then all of a sudden everyone was like, "What the heck's going on here? They shouldn't be able to do that. It's not fair." And it's gone. They
Yeah,
they got rid of it. The FAA banned the rule, and that was in the '90s, I think.
yeah,
So it's like everyone's playing little tricks all the time to do these things. Now it just comes down to if it's legal. And I think at the end of the day, Red Bull is going to look for anything they possibly can right now to be like, you can't do that.
yeah. Of course, dude.
So
Horner probably lies awake at night watching like the race highlights from like
yeah,
whoever he's competing with the most. Most likely it's like
yeah,
Lando's. He's just like in Lando's head
yeah,
cam the whole time, just
yeah,
freeze framing
yeah.
through the whole
What does that
thing.
button
Yeah,
do?
what does that do? What does he do?
And then he's like texting employees on the side too. But
Yeah.
that was improved.
Yeah. Those are all
Yeah.
allegations. What are you wearing?
um, I mean, it also ties into this monster that Red Bull has right now. Like they can't
Yeah.
figure it out worth anything. And we talked about it that Max is finally on board with being like, okay, this isn't working for me now because Perez is just sitting in the background like, yes, finally someone
Yeah,
else.
someone's acknowledged it
Yeah,
that the car is also shit.
yeah. But yeah, and I think that also comes back into what we've seen race results wise. Like, when was the last time Red Bull won a race? I think Ferrari and Mercedes have both won races back to back,
Hmm.
and Red Bull hasn't won anything,
No,
which is
they
pretty crazy.
yeah, they're really struggling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this. I mean, I said this before Monza too, but I think this is going to be a pretty telltale sign. I don't know what's going to happen in Baku, and Max is just his distaste towards this current situation is, I think, just going to bubble over because he's the current world champion and Rebels had so much scrutiny this year and now Adrian's leaving. It's just like, I wonder if their sponsors are just getting tons of money right now because of all this, because they're just in the news so much too. Because
You would think so that
any news is,
yeah,
you know,
that it relates to it a little bit. Max's last win was in Spain in June.
oh,
So it's been one, two, three, four, five, six races,
yeah.
7 races coming up for this one technically, but yeah, 6 races since
So we had
Max's last win.
George/Lewis won in Spain, right? I think that was
So
when George got to squall. No,
we had
that was
in Spain it
Spa.
was Max win.
Yeah.
So Max actually he won twice. Like he won in Canada and then he followed it up with a win in Spain. And then we had George win in Austria. Then we had Hamilton win in
Belgium because
no
of George's.
in Britain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then yeah, he won his home race. It was like a big
Sweet.
it was like a big win for him, and it was also his last race in the United Kingdom for
Yeah.
Mercedes
Okay.
for like for the rest of like
Yeah.
his like
That's
they're
it.
never
See you
back in
later.
Europe.
Now
So
he's Italian.
yeah, so now he's Italian. And then we had Piastri in Hungary, Hamilton again in Belgium, Norris in the Netherlands, and then Leclerc just most recently in Monza.
Damn. Oh my god.
It's been a lot. It's been like a lot of changes. It's been
Yeah.
really entertaining to see. It makes me feel like I'm going into the race and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
It
have no
actually
idea.
makes it.
I have no idea. I have no idea who's gonna
Yeah.
win. Which also like makes our like ridiculous guesses at the end of the podcasts just so much more like, oh, it's
Did
possible.
we say who we're thinking
We
for the
did.
next
We
races? I
wrote
can't
it
remember
down.
what I did. Oh, I went Max Hamilton Perez.
Yeah, I don't have my notebook on me, but I did say Hamilton winning.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if that happens.
Oh, that would totally mess up Lando's points count that you were just talking
It
about.
would, but like he'd have to come. He could come second, and then Max would have to come
Yeah.
fourth
Yeah.
at the best, which is totally a possibility.
I mean, it is.
Yeah,
But maybe Max gets a little spicy because he's trying to defend because he knows his car's good enough and he crashes.
I know. But or also alternatively, we're on a street circuit, and the king of the streets,
Yeah, Sergio.
Sergio, maybe he decides to come out and play. Like if Sergio doesn't do well in Baku, I don't think they're gonna at this point. I don't think they're gonna drop him. But like
They can't drop.
they can't drop him. But like I don't think it's gonna bode well for him next season, especially with VCarb still has like their open seat.
Yeah.
Um, they've come out into the news and said that they're going to be announcing it, I think, at Baku, or
Yeah.
this is what the rumor is
Yeah.
that they'll be announcing by this race, at this race or during or before. Although we're getting pretty close to it. So, um, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think if Checo doesn't perform well, like, I have a theory that if Checo doesn't perform well, because Marco Helmet has been so adamant that Lawson will be
Yeah.
driving next season. He will be in a seat for 2025. Horner has said that this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a Red Bull car. So, which whatever that means, like
Yeah.
almost nothing. Like there's like the only other place he could go to is Audi, but I don't think that's going to happen. I honestly think that's going to go to Valtteri. Um, yeah, if Checo doesn't perform well, I could see them giving Yuki the nod.
Really?
I could see them giving Yuki the nod and then having Checo and Ricardo, or no,
Lawson.
Ricardo, Lawson, and
Yeah.
then Checo becomes reserve.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely possible. I just would love to see Daniel back in the Red Bull. And I know that's such a cliche story,
Yeah,
but
it'd be
him and Max gelled so well when
they
they were
did.
on a team together.
They did.
And Daniel just made a poor decision to leave the Red Bull family when he did,
Yeah, he
because
shouldn't.
that's when he could have won.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. Although it could have been cataclysmic as well too. Like him and Max at that point in like just like a lethal car.
Yeah.
We could have seen Max like not like lose a lot of points because of like they were crashing a lot. They were hitting each other pretty
Yeah.
frequently.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see Daniel get spicy very often.
No.
Like, I think the last time I saw him get upset was like when Stroll crashed into the back of him.
Yeah, but that was just like
Yeah. That was just
Stroll's
Stroll being
blinders are
Stroll
just like
stuff.
not
Yeah.
even blinders are on. He just like his eyes are closed.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever tried it? It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean it's just 270 kilometers an
Yeah.
hour. This is a blast. I think there's a corner coming up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Perez brings I keep saying this, but I feel like he brings in a ton of money.
Yeah, he does, but so does Ricardo.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
marketing wise, I guess I would want to know what the numbers would be, and I don't think that's ever disclosed properly. But
it's interesting. I think if I had to guess, I think Checo brings in a lot of sponsorship money, but he also brings in an astronomical amount of revenue from sales.
yeah,
F1 has said like he is the number one selling like jersey or hat or like
okay,
Checo merch is
yeah,
the most popular merch on the F1 store,
yeah, yeah.
bar none.
That's so funny you say that actually, because where I work, there's a guy that comes in all the time,
Checo
um,
merch?
and he wears Checo merch, and every time I see him,
Yeah.
I'm like, tough race this weekend, man, and he's like. Yeah,
I don't want to talk about
we
it.
literally he literally just is getting so annoyed at me because every time I say it to him, yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, dude,
But
Checo kills merch sales because he just has like a die-hard fan base.
yeah,
But I mean, Danny is Visa Cash App's like icon,
yeah,
and they put so much money into um, Junior RB, whatever
yeah,
whatever its name was
yeah,
at the
yeah.
time, is now it's now
Junior
V.
drivers.
Yeah, it's now V Carb.
Yeah,
Like they're not even just like the title sponsor; they're
yeah,
like the primary sponsor, and that's got to be a ridiculous amount of money that's going into it. So
yeah,
I think Danny overall, I would bet you is bringing in more money than Checo, but I don't think it's by much. And I think Checo's is heavily reliant on his sales from his fan base.
yeah. Well, Mexico's still to come, right?
Mexico's still to come.
Yeah.
Mexico's in 4 races. So this 3 after this one, but 4 races.
And how many races are after Mexico? Do you know,
Four.
Adrian? Four.
4. We have after Mexico's Brazil, Las Vegas, Qatar, and then Abu Dhabi. But before that, we've got so after this race, um, we have a little bit of a break, I believe. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
No,
I
there's
haven't
no
been
break.
keeping
No, we
track
go
of
to
it.
Baku and then we immediately go to the following week and we go to Singapore.
Oh, Singapore.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we have a break from up until October 18th where they go to the United States.
The North American
Yeah. So they do like,
portion.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Singapore's a fun one, man. I'd really like to go see, like,
That'd be rad.
aside from like me like having lived there,
Yeah.
I would love to like go see the Singapore race live.
So my old man went to Singapore when I was a kid. Him and his buddies went. So he used to work for one of the airlines, and they flew there and had like a pod style esque hotel where it was like a super small room. They paid like nothing for it,
Cool.
and they got super sick when they were in Singapore. But then they had to go to Malaysia afterwards and watch the next Grand Prix the next week. So they were gone for like a 2 week span, and in that 2 week span, as they were traveling from one Grand Prix to the other, they all got super sick and had like crazy fevers and stuff. And he said it was like the gnarliest trip of his life. And the only thing that I know about this trip, other than that, is he brought home this awesome big Singapore Grand Prix like roll up sponsorship banner,
That's
and he
cool.
somehow
Nice.
brought it home in his carry on luggage. So Singapore, like, even though I didn't live there or anything, it just has like this weird emotional thing for me because I
Yeah,
relate
because
it
your
to my
dad.
dad a little bit. So shout out, Dad. Yeah, he's the one who got me into F1, so it's really kind of like
A
one of
little bit
those memories for
sentimental.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
sick.
Singapore's cool.
Yes, it is. I can't like. Well, I can't imagine. I've gotten sick there before. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, it's like the humidity levels are just obnoxious.
Yeah.
And for the drivers, even that race, just they've all said that it's the worst race to do, but like
Yeah.
it must be brutal. Like I remember going to school there and like wearing because my like you're wearing like pants, like cotton pants and like a big cotton long sleeve shirt, and it was just you're immediately like drenched in sweat the second that you leave the house, and it was just like why are you
Yeah.
guys doing
And
this?
your water tube's not working as you're walking to
Yeah, I know.
school.
Terrible. Having to change my camel pack
Yeah.
constantly. But
So yeah,
dude, I'm excited for that race.
I
And
think it's gonna be cool. I mean, the next little bit of the season's gonna be really telling. I think.
yeah,
Couple street races.
if
Mexico is like that big race for Red Bull because of Sergio
yeah,
too. Does Sergio stay with Red Bull after Mexico?
I
Maybe.
think like you said, like it's such a short amount of races afterwards. It'd be
Yeah.
silly for them to switch him out. But maybe not though, because if they get to that point and Checo's like not helping
Yeah.
Max at all, he's not playing any defense.
Yeah.
And when they need someone playing defense, then like yeah, maybe they're like, we need to get someone in here for like the time being.
I'm just thinking like, what's Drive to Survive gonna say? What's these
Well,
TV
the
shows
TV show I
that
was gonna say, I'm excited for that to
yeah,
see how they always there's always extra stuff that's in that show that like we
yeah,
just like don't get to see
yeah. It's fluff.
the extra like fluff and material. But dude, they're gonna sensationalize this season, I think, a lot because of
Yeah,
just like how much has happened and how all over the place it is.
yeah,
And then I think Adrian leaving is gonna be like a big talking
yeah.
point with
And
that.
Christian and
And
his drama
Christian,
at the
yeah,
beginning of the season.
there's gonna be a lot. It'll
Yeah,
be a Netflix is gonna have a field day.
yeah. They're gonna have a field day, and it's funny that you say that because like this over like sensationalization of like what this is Max was. I'm just always go back to Max because he's like my hero, but Um, his quote was like, "I stopped watching after episode 3 of like the first or second season because they were painting a picture of like Daniel and Lando like hating each other when they race at McLaren. Like that's totally not
Hmm.
true, and it just like goes to show that like that statement falsifies like a lot of the other stuff that may be said on it, but."
Yeah.
It's such a good way to get people interested in the sport, and I think it allows like people like us to have conversations like this about it, and like maybe it's going to help develop like future racers in different countries that didn't have the interest in it because now it's like this sensationalized like national global sport again from the
Yeah.
media perspective, right?
Well,
So
like I mean, like it literally is the reason I got into
yeah,
F1 for sure, and it was like a huge portion of like getting me caught up
yeah,
to like largely in parts like see like what's currently going on. But I do know from watching that like as soon as you start paying attention to like the tracks and stuff, there was so many clips where
yeah,
they would have like things that was like people are arguing or they'd have something happen like in the race and then they would cut to like the team principal, but then the team principal's like at a totally different
yeah,
track and it's just like those two things didn't happen at the same time. Those things actually happened
Yeah.
weeks apart.
And then the footage that they show about the team principal at a different track is like before the event that was going on.
Yeah, so it's just like
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
always
make
call that
sense.
stuff out to my partner
But
when we when we watch it.
well, it's like so egregious. But like
Yeah,
I do agree with you. Like it it makes it really entertaining to watch, and it does bring fans in, and I hope that it brings more fans in. I think more people should be watching F1.
yeah,
Like it's so entertaining. There's so much drama that happens.
yeah,
Even like I don't even know why they sensationalize it. Like there is just already just so
yeah.
much stuff that happens. They don't even necessarily
Because they need
need
to
to.
make it like
I
Love
know they
Island
got
or
to
like
make it like so crazy.
like something that's gonna like draw people in. Like next
Yeah,
episode,
what's that? But
doot, 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 doot. Like like that's what they're trying to go for. So
totally.
I mean, it also like brings in different demographics to people who watch it. Like I normally would be watching that on my own, and now I'm able to watch it like with my girlfriend or
Yeah,
like with other people who may not have gained that original interest from like how they were like raised as kids or what type of things they had the ability to expose themselves to and stuff like that. So I think it's a great way to do that.
totally. And like also just like speaking of like more exposure, I know that they're not going to do it with like F2 and F3, just because it's just like more of the same stuff. But I unless I'm completely wrong, I do believe that they Netflix is doing a show for Formula A, the
Yeah,
Formula Academy, which
yeah,
I am actually going to watch. I'm a big fan of Leah Block.
yeah. Of course. Well,
Just
Ken, rest in peace.
yeah, just got to see how that story unfolds. Um, she's already just like such a phenomenal race car
Yeah,
driver as is, and seeing her get into like F1 is really cool.
and I think
Um,
that's what a lot of what we miss is like I feel like a lot of her influence is from like the rally side of things.
yeah,
And I think that's awesome because you see like a lot of the Finnish drivers, and we talked about this in like our first or second podcast of like how they all come from like rally backgrounds. And I
hmm
think maybe her development with that rally background and like the school of like Gymkhana and like
yeah,
all these things is going to like transfer over to Formula One, hopefully.
dude, her dad's got it. Like was definitely just like a huge influence.
Yeah.
I would love to see her just like just drifting
Yeah.
like
The
the Formula One, Formula
Formula,
A
yeah.
car like around. Obviously, she'll never do that. It's just gonna
Yeah.
was such a huge waste of time. But like
Yeah.
she could, dude. She rips.
Yeah.
She drives like I think one of the last cars that like her and her dad built together on like for like the Hoonigan garage
It's the
was
Audi.
no, they built a convertible like all white like iced out Ford Mustang Fox body
Oh, no way.
similar to uh, Vanilla Ice
Okay.
had one in like some music video,
Yeah.
so they did that, and they did these really crazy. I think it was Rotiform built like these
Yeah.
custom
They're
like
probably
one
cool.
off like wheels for them.
Yeah.
They're sick, but it's just like her doing like huge burnout like in the garage. She's a very competent driver, and I think
Man, I
it's
loved that old Audi Quattro that
the
they
Audi Quattro that they built
refurbed.
is
Yeah,
dope. Yeah, that
yeah,
thing's sweet.
yeah. I think that's awesome. I think we should definitely start incorporating that into it and like
Hmm.
seeing like the early stages of these racers as they go through. And I think focusing on like different genders when it comes to
Yeah,
like being in this sport is also super important. So I'm excited to dive into that because I haven't really turned a lot of focus to it. So
no, I don't. I gotta be honest with you. I don't think a lot of people are. So I think that shedding light on it and kind of getting more involved in it, it's like a just a positive all around.
yeah,
Especially because like there is a total possibility that these girls, I can't remember. I think the Formula A are like equivalent to F3 cars.
academy.
Yeah, they're equivalent to like F3.
Yeah,
And all it does is just it's getting girls involved and then
yeah.
potentially shifting them off into F2.
I think Susie Wolf is a big involvement in that.
She huge. She yeah. So I think she's the head
Yeah,
of Formula Academy.
yeah, I think that's probably how I'm assuming is Liberty Media also has the media rights to
Yeah.
that too, I would assume. So maybe that has something to do.
Do you think Toto was just like
I tease that.
he's just like we can
Yeah.
get a large percentage stake of this?
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes. Billions. I've come from nothing and
billions.
I want the billions.
Dude, he's done a good job of it, man.
He throws his headset on the freaking table.
He's been gentle the last couple of races. He's
Yeah,
been
he
very
has.
calm.
George has really brought that out.
Yeah.
Maybe
George.
it's Lewis leaving. He kind of humbled Toto a little bit.
Yeah, he's just sad now. George is just every night
Yeah.
rubbing his back. It's gonna be
Yeah.
okay, Toto. Shut up,
I'm the
George.
golden child
Yeah,
now. I'm the golden child.
Daddy, can I play with the cause now?
Oh man.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so it was a smaller podcast today, just because it's a little midweek thing. Um,
No race this
no
past
race.
weekend.
I'm looking forward to Baku. And speaking of that, you and I are going camping.
We sure are.
Going camping this week with a couple other guys that are also F1 fans. And I think the plan is to bring a projector out
Yeah.
and watch the race live in the forest. So I think our plan for the next podcast is to do a little outdoor commentary. I think most likely we'll end up recording for um, qualifying where
Yeah.
we're out there at night. So it'll be a little campfire chat. I think the next podcast we'll have a little campfire chat about
So
qualifying.
watch the video.
Yeah, watch the video. It could be kind of funny. We're all going to be in the woods, not necessarily, you know, drinking beverages, but that might have happened.
Bubblies.
Yeah, bubblies,
Plug
a lot
us.
of a lot of water. Yeah, dude, I would love to get a bubbly sponsorship.
Can you imagine?
we
I
get
crushed like a
Michael,
pack of those a night.
dude, we get Michael Bublé on here. We're Canada too. We're
Yeah,
Canadian,
true.
dude. It's good Canadian
Yeah.
content with Michael Bublé, sponsored by Bubbly.
Yeah.
Sponsor us. We need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any like little points that you want to bring up?
No, I'm looking forward to the weekend. We're going to make sure we have a good multi-viewer setup on one of the laptops with the projector set up. We'll just be sitting around, hanging out with the guys, and just shooting the shit and talking F1.
We're
So
gonna have to bring this ring light with us. I think,
yeah,
or some.
we
Actually,
love the ring light.
I got some Christmas lights. We can hang
Oh, how
those up.
cute!
It'll be really
Yeah,
cute. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Episode 4
wrap.
wrap.